Welcome everyone to the second webinar. This is our wellness session 2. I'm numbering them because this way it'll be easier for those of you that may have not seen all of them, that you can actually connect and go to the YouTube channel. Some of you got that video today, or actually the email with the link where you can go to the YouTube channel and you'll be able to see. And I'll do it sequentially, where it'll be the first week is session 1, second week session 2, so we'll go all the way through like that. When we get into March, it'll be then 5. So it'll be 1 through 4 for February, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 for March. So let me see if we have, okay, great, fantastic. Now remember, you can chat with me. I have to make sure. Bolton, if you could just help me to see if I can see the chats. I don't see them in the current screening now. Maybe just if we have to maybe blow up the screen there, and then that might be able to see it a little bit better. Okay, yeah, that's much better. So please feel free to, during this time, also to send me a chat. I would love to hear anything that you might have to say. Maybe you could help me if any, because you're connected as well, if there are any chats, so that this way I can focus, so you can let me know if somebody's asked a question. So I'm going to first start with a review from last week. And I wanted to let you know that the recording actually didn't work out last week, so I re-recorded it. And then I may have added or taken out a few things. But the main thing that we were talking about was digestion, that digestion is so important to good health, and we have to make sure that your digestion is neither too fast, too slow, or irregular, that you're having proper elimination. I had recommended Digestone, which is wonderful for proper elimination. And we also talked about toxins and how if you build up too many toxins in the nervous system, then you can create ill health. And of course, one of those ways is that maybe we don't sleep well. And if you don't sleep well, then the digestion becomes very, very weak. So sleep is very important. And what I mentioned I didn't mention it last week as much, but I actually, when I did the recording, it reminded me to talk about Transcendental Meditation. Many of you may have already learned the technique, those of you that are on the call. And if you have not been practicing regularly, I do recommend that you get refreshed, because that is the best thing that I can actually offer you in terms of your health. So I do have introductory presentations on the TM technique on a regular basis, even by phone or in person if you're in the Chicago area. But I would highly recommend that. Transcendental meditation reduces cortisol, the major stress hormone, by about 30 to 40% per 20-minute sitting. If you were to just sleep 7 or 8 hours, if you were lucky enough to sleep that much, you only reduce cortisol by about 5 to 10%. This high cortisol can greatly interfere with our digestion and our well-being. So that's why I highly recommend it. I won't take the time, because this is only a half-hour session, I won't take the time in this session to go over Transcendental Meditation, because I have a special session for that, and you can just email me if you'd like to have those details. Those of you that have already learned the technique in your 4-day class, then please go to a refresher session if you're not doing it twice a day regularly. I highly recommend it. It's just unbelievable. It reduces anxiety, depression. It reduces one's chance of heart disease, stroke, and cancer by about 60%. So I highly, highly recommend that. So in addition to the TM, I wanted to talk about sleep and how can we get better sleep. If you learn TM, or if you're practicing TM and you're not sleeping well, eventually it will help you. People that are regular with the TM practice over 2 to 3 months show a dramatic improvement in sleep. Actually, most people that we teach that have problems either getting to sleep or staying asleep, when they first learn TM, they actually start to sleep better within just a few days. So that's how important that would be to have on your bucket list of something to be doing regularly. In addition to that, I have a few other tips and things that you can do to promote good sleep. We talked last week about the Abhyanga, that oil massage, and I will get to sending you the PDFs it's kind of a little bit tricky because I have to send them individually. I don't think that they're going to work to send it all in a group. So please give me maybe until the weekend, and I'll send that out to you. But the oil massage, oil, especially sesame oil with herbs, it pulls toxins out, but it's also very calming to the nervous system. So if you're ever really stressed and you come home, it's good to do the massage in the morning because you do the massage and it actually loosens toxins and it invigorates the nervous system. But when you do it before bed or in the evening and then take a warm Epsom salt bath, it's very, very calming. So if you're ever highly stressed, even if you've been doing TM, but maybe the stress that you have right now, you're a little bit on overload with stress, you can even just put a little bit of the oil on your feet to sleep at night. Or even if you're not going to wash your hair, or if you are going to wash your hair the next day, you can put it on your hair, on the scalp, just a little bit. It doesn't need to be much. Just massage it in. But if you want to wear a turban, you can really massage it in the whole scalp. For men, it'll be a little bit easier. And you can actually put maybe just a pillow, an old pillowcase, or you can just get an old towel and put it on the pillow. And so you can have your head all just oiled up, and then you just lie down, and it'll really help sleep. Magnesium, some of you may have heard of melatonin or magnesium. These are natural things. They don't always work for everyone, but you might find that they help. You have to try different things and see what works to assist in sleeping without using pills. Now, if you drink wine at night, many of you that I've already taught TM to have told me this, that if you drink wine at night, it does impair your sleeping a little bit, that you do tend to wake up a little bit more in the middle of the night. And this is due to acidity. So we have to be careful that we don't eat too much at night and we don't eat too much of the wrong things, because this could greatly affect our sleep in a very negative way. So try as much as you can. We talked about that last week. And don't mind if I'm repeating things, because in Ayurveda, you have to just naturally assimilate the knowledge. It's a lot to take in. That's why we're going to be meeting every week and reviewing the knowledge, because if it just comes in a very natural conversational way rather than a real instructional way, you're going to be able to understand it more, and you'll remember things and say, oh, I remember she told me that, and okay, I'll do that now. But it takes just some time of repetition. So if I am repeating, I know that I'm repeating, and it's purposeful. But we are going to mainly just finish many points that will help you for good sleep. And so one of them would definitely be at night not eating too much food. And remember, we talked about it last week, that if you are going to have dinner, try to eat it by 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And you can have a fairly substantial dinner if you have a good digestion and if you're not overweight and you don't have to worry about your weight. You don't want to be starving going to bed. But if you're trying to lose weight, eat a little bit less at night, because we know that those that eat less at night can lose weight more easily. And then remember, I talked about the almond milk. I hope some of you had the chance to try that almond milk. Or even cow's milk with a little bit of spices. You can put turmeric or ginger powder or cardamom, cinnamon, pumpkin spice is even nice to add to the milk or the almond milk. And it's really a wonderful sort of tip to getting you to sleep. Milk has tryptophan in it, so it's that old sort of remedy that many of your mothers had probably told you about. Oh, you can't sleep at night, just go have some warm milk. Now, Nutmeg is actually has a sedative effect. However, it can be constipating. But if you really are kind of, maybe I use the word frazzled, many of you that I've spoken with about your health issues, or just maybe I taught you TM and we've had conversations, and you work late at night. Some of you do work late at night. You can't change it. Maybe you're a doctor or a nurse, or you have other profession that causes you to be up later at night, maybe doing a lot of speaking, and then it's hard to settle down at night. So this nutmeg will help. Just if you do suffer from constipation, don't have too much of it. Now, of course, there goes back to the digestion, which I can send you some if you'd like. Very good for elimination. So that would counteract that maybe negative effect. I'm not saying that all of you will have that effect of nutmeg in the milk, but if you do, then you'll know, okay, it makes me a little too constipated. I can't overdo it. But you only need a pinch. And you'll see with that, and then you have the oil on your feet, and you have your nice warm milk. Yoga. You don't want to do too much exercise at night. I've spoken to many of you that do lots of vigorous exercise at night, and then you wonder why you can't fall asleep. So try to do your exercise in the morning or when you get home from work, even before your meditation practice, because that will allow you to settle down. Of course, many of the things that people talk about, health experts talk about in getting to sleep, not overusing the computer at night. Some people can be on the computer and they fall asleep very quickly. Others, it's too stimulating. TV. Have the computer be a little bit further away from you. And don't overdo it, because I'm sure many of you are on the computer during the day. And talking. Don't have very intense, fast talking, engaging, emotional conversations at night. This will not allow you to go to sleep. And of course, television as well. If you may want to have some of your shows taped that are a little bit exciting and maybe too invigorating for the evening. So maybe you would save that for the weekend, when you might go to bed a little bit later, when it's not crucial that you get up early in the morning for work. So those are just some tips for sleeping. What happens if you get up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep? If you practice TM, I've told many of you, you sit up and you can close your eyes and you start your meditation practice. You know how to do TM. If after 5 or 10 minutes the fatigue comes, if TM worked, we use TM for short, for Transcendental Meditation. If it's worked and it's induced sleep, we don't continue to try to stay awake. Often people say it works like a charm. After 5 or 10 minutes, TM has done its job. Even though TM is very invigorating and it gives energy, there's sort of a situation in which, when we try to do meditation late at night, it will give energy. But once we've been asleep for a few hours and then we do the TM practice, once we've been asleep and it's sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m., that seems to help people to fall asleep. So this is just sort of a little tip for those that meditate. If you do not yet meditate, then what I would recommend is lying down flat in the bed with your palms up. This is a yoga position called Asana, or more popularly known as Shavasana. And it really is very relaxing. And along with your oil massage on your feet, you can actually massage your feet, not just put the oil on. You can get some old socks, but massage the feet and get some nice massage and lie down with your palms up. If you do that for 5 or 10 minutes, that should induce sleep. But the most important thing is, do not get up and read or get on the phone or watch TV, because even if you're not sleeping well, you don't want to excite the system. If you're just lying there in bed, shutting down mentally and physically, that will be enough. And so it's very important not to get up and sort of create more excitation. People say, oh, I can't stand it anymore. I just have to get up and do something. But then if sleep were to come, you're not in that sleep mode. You're doing something else. So very important to just stay in the bed, keep the room dark, make sure there aren't noises around. If you're sensitive to noise, you might want to sleep with a noise machine. Very, kind of like a shh sound. It's just they call it white noise. You don't want raindrops or any ocean, nothing that you can sort of connect to. Just some simple, almost like a heater. It sounds like a heater or air conditioning, just some white noise. So these would be things that we have to sleep well. The reason why I'm spending so much time on sleep this week is because I'm going through sort of my top recommendations for perfect health. And after Transcendental Meditation, sleep comes in second. TM will help you to sleep, but if you're not doing that at the moment, then you're going to need other tips. Some people, they have jobs that create so much stress that even with Transcendental Meditation, they need extra tips. So I want to add that sort of into your toolbox of tips for proper sleep. So if you can try to get 7 hours of sleep a night, this would be fantastic. If you're sleeping 8 or 9, I won't tell anybody, that's perfect. It's really perfect because we don't want to sleep too much. There are negative side effects of sleeping too much. So I would say don't sleep 11, 10, 11, 12 hours of sleep every night. If you are a pilot or if you're a paramedic, firefighter, a doctor working in the ER, then you can sleep whenever you can and your whole routine is going to be quite different. But generally, if you have a typical 9 to 5 job, Monday through Friday, you should try to get yourself into bed early enough so that you will be able to sleep 7 hours. If you don't backtrack and get into bed early enough, then and you just allow yourself only 5 hours. You have to get up and you have to go to work. Then what can you do? So you have to be very disciplined to backtrack 7 hours or even more, obviously, for when you need to get up and make breakfast and do all the things that you need to do to get to work. So very, very important. Treat yourself in a very royal way. And I know for most of you, this is unusual. But if you take care of your health now, you will have less problems in the future. So that's why sleep is crucial to good health. What I will do is you're going to also get a transcript, so you'll have a repeat of this in a transcript form, which will be nice, so you don't have to listen to the sessions again, but you can just read them and review them, and then you can print them out if you'd like, the transcript, and then you can just keep it in a little book if you'd like to kind of highlight things that are important to you. And as we're here, you can just take some notes if you'd like. But eventually, this will become second nature to you, and I know you'll be, telling a lot of your friends as well. Let me just check the time. Okay, so you'll be telling a lot of your friends these tips as well as time goes on. It'll just become part of sort of a procedure. So let's talk a little bit about diet. I'm happy to answer any other questions right now. If anybody wants to chat, I will be on the lookout for the chat. And if you have any questions about sleep or anything else, if you'd like to just type it in, I'll wait a few moments. Don't be shy, and you can type in your questions. Okay, and if any of you have any, if you have any comments, if you tried anything last week and it worked well for you, this would be also something that you could just put in the chat and just let me know that you tried something and you really liked it or what your experience was, just to inspire others. So that's fine as well. So you don't have to be shy. So I'm going to introduce, like I said, a few extra little things each week. So little tools for your toolbox. And last week, let me see if we have it, we talked about the digestone, and we talked about, which I don't have it in front of me, but and we talked about Google. Those of you that want to lose weight, you could have this help to assist you. I know some of you might want to do a more intensive detox. So now we're going to talk a little bit about our detox. And if those of you are really, really worried, really stressing out, worry-free tablets, they're excellent, very, very calming. And also, they help with the emotions, not only worry and anxiety, but also if people have some anger or irritability or impatience. These herbal products are very, very good. You can just email me also if you have any questions about them. So something else that's very common in Ayurveda are nose oils. Now, I know many of you have allergies or you have dryness. I do recommend that you have a humidifier in the room. Most of you probably do, but I would definitely recommend a humidifier in the room at night. You can get them at Bed Bath & Beyond. They have really nice ones there, and they're very quiet, but they bring some moisture in the air, and you can actually get also a humidifier detector. It's a little, I can actually show you mine. It actually tells you how much humidity is in the air, so you know kind of where you're at, and you can probably get that at Bed Bath & Beyond as well. But most of the machines will stop when there's enough moisture in the air. But with heating, it's just so drying in the winter. So another thing that happens is in the nose, we get dry and we get blockage. Often you get sniffles or sinus problems. So this is called clear and soothe. It's another thing my clients just love it. They cannot believe something so simple is, and it's very inexpensive. It's $8.95, and it lasts you, a couple of months. And what you do is it has actually a little top that you can put on. It's like an antihistamine, but it's not. It's just oil, sesame oil with herbs. And you can either put it on your palm and then take your little pinky, and you do stick your pinky up your nose, and you go, and you just sniff it up. Now you can, for simplicity's sake, just use the little dropper. The reason why I like to do it manually is because, especially when you're first doing it, the dropper can be just maybe pushing too much oil in, and it can feel clogging. And so I just wanted to give you that, tip to try to do it, sort of manually at first with your pinky, and it allows you actually to massage the little membranes in there, and that's very good. And then you just let it do its thing. Now you could feel a little clogged. Don't do too much at once. Just 3 or 4 drops, and that's enough. 3 or 4 drops is enough. And just try a little bit. Very soothing to the mind. The nose, it's really the pathway to the brain. And everything that's why even aromatherapies, things that you smell through the nose, and everything that happens through the nose goes up through the brain. So this not only has it helped people with allergies or with sinus problems, it's really like a roto-rooter. It allows all the mucus that can get stuck back there due to the dryness. It allows it to just sort of like a roto-rooter go through. The mind is more clear. The sinuses are clear. It works like a charm. And you can just carry it around, put it in a little plastic thing, carry it around. You only need to do it 2-3 times a day. And the instructions are on there. Very, very easy. If you want to try a little bit of olive oil or sesame oil at home, that's fine. But the herbs are what's special about this, that allows for the more kind of roto-rooter effect where things move through more easily, so your sinuses don't get blocked. People that do this don't get colds as often, and they don't have allergy attacks. Really, really excellent. I highly recommend it. And back to the sleep, it really helps to promote sound sleep just by doing it 2 or 3 times a day, calming the mind. You'll notice that when you go to work, you're just feeling also more calm and very settling. So I highly recommend that. That's my tip for the week, is the nose oil. But let's talk about diet, because we're going to be coming up soon to our completing our 30 minutes. And if we go over, that's fine. But I want to just, I did make some bread. Next week, I will take you into my kitchen and we will make bread together. And I will, all you need for the bread are 6 cups of flour. And you can substitute, now I don't know, I'm going to try to bring this a little closer. So this is almond bread here, and this is just regular gluten-free bread that I made at home, and you can toast it. Now, the trick to the bread at home, here it is in the pot, in the pan. I put it in a glass. Now, as you might notice, it's very low. As you probably noticed that if you go to Whole Foods and you're trying to do gluten-free or yeast-free, they're very low. And the reason why is that it seems that for gluten-free or yeast-free, if you put too much in the pan, then it doesn't cook as well. That's part of probably the good effect of yeast. But yeast is not good. Ayurveda does not promote eating yeasted foods on a regular basis. Now, don't go crazy, and if you go to a restaurant occasionally, don't not have the bread. I eat yeast occasionally. So maybe, once a month, if I go out to eat, I'll have yeast, and it's fine. We're talking about on a regular basis. But you will love this. You can put pumpkin seeds. I'm going to show you again. So pumpkin seeds, you can actually just put them on the top, or you can grind them. And you just put a little bit of salt. You put a little bit of ghee or clarified butter. which I showed you last week, and then you can put a little bit of sunflower oil if you prefer to put oil. All you do is you take the flour, and I will show you next week, but I'm just going to tell you now in case you want to try it. About 6 cups of flour, and then sprinkle a little bit of salt, as I recommended last week. The rock salt, the Himalayan rock salt, I highly recommend. A few tablespoons of the ghee. You don't need much. When you're making bread, it's not like a cake, so you don't need much oil, just a little bit in there, and then just water. You can put almond milk if you want a richer bread. You can put, to substitute for the flour, if you want really like a high protein grain bread and no flour, you can almost do a flourless bread. You could do sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, sesame seeds. You could put in maybe some nuts if you'd like, some pecans. And then you could put in millet and amaranth, and that would be pretty much flourless. The millet's flour, but the amaranth is more of a grain, high protein. And even though we're trying in Ayurveda to not do a lot of carbs, this would really just be for those of you that just like something crunchy, you love bread, you don't want to give up bread. This is what you could actually put some avocado on this in the afternoon as a snack. You can use it for toast. And you can have, sometimes, I may not be that hungry. I might just have, because I don't want to do a big carb thing, I might just have half of that with my meal. Or, if you're really hungry, have a whole one. And this is if you're in the mood, the almond bread, which is very nutritious. I put almond milk, amaranth, and millet, a little bit of ghee, and a little bit of the coconut nectar that we talked about last week. And so it's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. I believe a diabetic could probably eat that and not have any sugar spike, because it's the sugars that we talked about, the coconut palm and the coconut nectar, that are low glycemic index. And like I promised you, I didn't want you to suffer when you do this Ayurvedic diet, so we're not suffering. We're having some almond bread, and I will send you that recipe as well. And so what I did here with the almond bread initially is if you want to make a smaller little loaf, you can, and especially if you're in a rush and this will bake up a little faster. I usually put it on 350 degrees for about an hour, but that smaller loaf would take maybe less. Now, every oven is different. If you are afraid that you're not cooking it properly, you can just stick a toothpick in it and see if it comes out clean. If it's undercooked, just toast it. I love to toast that almond cake. I love to toast my bread. I like it warm. I like it toasted. So if you like it gooey and more raw and not so cooked, then eat it that way. But if you like it toasted, it's going to actually be more digestible. Now, getting back to the diet with the mung beans, next week I am going to show you how to make the khichdi, and I will send you the recipes. But the main thing is that we talked about starting on having some vegetables. I hope a lot of you have incorporated some vegetable into your diet. And if you want to get into the very strict diet more quickly, please email me and I can, help you with that. But I can tell you briefly how that would happen. And it's a repeat from last week, but I just want to make sure that you're clear. What kind of a diet do I do on a detox? And what kind of a diet do I do if I'm just being healthy? So the detox diet would eliminate all dairy and preferably all meats. All dairy, all meats, and minimal amount of nuts. For breakfast, you could have your porridge that we talked about. You could have your stewed fruits. For lunch, you would have your mung beans. You would have a vegetable, and you would have a grain. And then you could have some of that bread, or you could have a mung bean pancake, which is absolutely delicious and fulfilling. If you get hungry during the day on your detox, you can have more of the mung beans and the vegetables. That can be like your snack. We don't have too many other snacks that we offer except for maybe kanji water, which is just rice water. So we have to be kind of more light. But the mung beans with vegetables can be something you could have as a snack. And then you have the same thing for dinner. But you can have milk before bed, and you can have a digestive lassi drink, which we're going to make next week. So I'm going to show you. You'll be in my kitchen next week. We're going to have a visual, and you'll be able to see, oh, here's the yogurt drink, and you'll have the recipes by then. And you can, if you'd like to do it along with me, you could have all the ingredients, and you can do it along with me. And then if you have any questions, you can let me know. So does anybody have any questions? I'll wait a few minutes again for the chat. I'll see if anybody else would like to chat and ask me any questions, or if you have any comments. Very quiet group. So what I could do is if we have a small group, I have to see how many people we can put in the go-to meeting. In the go-to meeting, people can actually, anybody can talk at any time. But like I said, the problem is the recording value is not so good, because then there's a lot of background noise. So that's why I've opted more for the webinar. But I will see, if we want to change that. But at least you are always able to chat, and feel free to send me an email. So if there aren't any questions, then we're going to close for this evening. And so you have, just to do a little recap, you have your, maybe to learn a little bit more about Transcendental Meditation, to implement that as a part of your wellness program. And we have, there's a wonderful book by Dr. Norman Rosenthal called Transcendence, Healing and Transformation Through the TM Technique. You could read that, or you could email me and attend one of my introductory presentations by phone. And you actually have a PowerPoint you follow along with, so that would be great. Sleep, you have your tips for really good sleep, and I hope that they will work for you if you do have trouble sleeping. And then you have, we talked a little bit about the diet, and that's it. So I will, session 3 will be next Thursday at 8 o'clock. And if you have any questions about your health, please reach out, email me, and I will respond back to you with any answers to your questions. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.